All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. My name is Raven from the Sky. Now let's continue. Kano's cell phone rang. He saw Kuze's name on the display. Kano speaking. What the heck are you doing? The director's voice was shrill with irritation. What's the situation with Maria Osawa? I have her in custody, sir. We need to get her to quarantine immediately. I'll send the counter NBC terrorism unit to pick her up. What? A public safety mobile investigation unit belonging to the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Public Security Bureau. The acronym NBC refers to nuclear, biological, and chemical threats. The unit not only gathers information and investigates terror incidents that make use of these means, but also deploys relief and safety restoration measures. What's your location? Sir, the situation is a little complicated at the moment, Kano replied. He and Stanley made eye contact. Kano gave him a knowing nod. He knew what he needed to do here. He briefly informed Kuze of the plan to take Maria to the laboratory, but was careful not to mention Alfred. Please, sir, Kano said, blowing reflectively into the phone. Let me handle this. Absolutely not, Kuze exclaimed. There's no way I can allow that. Maria Osawa needs to go in quarantine right now. Sir, please, just give us a little more time. Giving her the antiviral is the only way we can save her. If we put her in quarantine, it'll be a death sentence. Kuze let out a growl of frustration. Kano, that isn't your decision to make. Kano had run out of arguments. It was clear that Kuze's only concern was stopping the spread of the virus. Director Kuze, are you just going to let Maria Osawa die? We can't put the lives of everyone in Shibuya at risk in order to save a single person. I know that, sir. That's why I'm asking you to please let me go to that laboratory. And if it looks like we're not going to be able to hack the password, then at that point, a quarantine can... Kano! I'm giving you an order. And I'm not accepting that order. Ooh. Oh, shit. Listen, Kuze said. How many years have you been a cop? What do you mean by that, sir? Kuze didn't reply. Is this an order from up top? What's going on here, sir? Please. I need some kind of explanation. Stop it, Kuze said. You sound like a child. This is a dereliction of duty. Or dereliction. Call me a child if you want, but I'm not following an order that I know isn't right. And hung up on him. Kano punched the end call button with his thumb. He had a flip phone. They recently brought him back, but they're like in the smartphone kind of way. But this game originally came out in 2008. For those if you happen to be wondering. It's just been, ported to PS4. I want to say years ago. This isn't 2021 game. This was like 2017 on back, I think. 2018 on back. It's not past 2018. They needed to think about more than just Maria. If the UA virus spread through Shibuya, it would be a nightmare of epic proportions. Kano understood that perfectly clearly, but still, he looked down at Maria's face as she lay collapsed on the floor. The girl was still alive, and Kano couldn't stand idly by and let a living, breathing person die. Consequences be damned. He wasn't going to be the one to weigh the worth of someone's life. As he stood still clutching his cell phone, Stanley gently set a hand on his shoulder. You did fine, he said quietly. Alfred is in possession of the UA virus. The people of Shibuya are already in danger. He may have already released the virus in the city. If he hasn't, he may do so at any time. Right now, what we need to do is get that antiviral and arrest Alfred. You made the right choice here. Thanks, Stanley. I appreciate hearing that. Stanley gave Kano a slap on the back. He was right. At this point, they needed to focus on things they could still accomplish. So guys, Aichi stepped forward. Who's going to take Hitomi's sister and Kanan to the lab? Maria was in no condition to walk, so they were going to have to take a car, which meant they needed a driver. I only have a motorcycle license, Aichi said, and I don't know where the lab is anyhow. I should go with Maria alone. Kanan looked over at the others. There's no way of knowing for sure when she might become contagious. We shouldn't needlessly risk exposing more people to infection. She knelt down to gather Maria in her arms. In that case, I should drive. Kano whirled around at the sound of a new voice behind him. Tano was standing in the doorway. You! Aichi's face went red with rage. Oh, can we jump now? Or no? We can jump. I could just finish Kano's. You! Detective Tateno, Kano, and Daisuke spoke simultaneously. Now at last, Aichi had a name for the assassin. It was a name he felt he'd heard somewhere before. You son of a gun, Aichi roared. What the hell are you doing here? Tateno bowed his head profusely. I am truly sorry. You're sorry? Sorry don't cut it, man. Not after what you were trying to do to Hitomi. I don't expect you to forgive me, and I intend to turn myself in to be punished for my crimes. But before I do that, please let me do what I can to help you. I think you've helped enough. Aichi grabbed Tateno by the collar and drew back his fist. Kano moved to stop him, but Tateno held up a hand. No, it's all right. Let him do as he pleases. There was no trace of the menacing expression the man had worn in their previous encounters. Aichi scowled but lowered his fist, then released his hold on Tateno's collar. Fine. Hitomi's sister needs help, so we do need a driver right now. Make sure those two get to the lab and back safely. That'll make up for that punch I didn't give you just now. Thank you. I am so sorry. Daisuke stepped forward. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. I'm the one who got you caught up in this. Daisuke, we really didn't grow up to be very good people, did we? No, guess not. The two men stared bleakly at each other, shoulders slumped. In the end, Tateno said, I guess we were just trying to run away from our pain. Yeah, didn't expect my own son to be the one to teach me that. Aichi turned out to be a fine young man. He is Kotone's boy after all. Guys, Aichi stepped into the middle of their solemn heart-to-heart. You can get sappy all you want later, Dad. Once this is all over, we're going to go see Suzune, okay? Sure. Daisuke nodded heartily. Hold on, Kano spoke up, turning to Stanley. If these two take Maria to the lab, that leaves just us two to apprehend Alfred down at the Scramble. Is that going to be enough? I mean, Alfred's not going to show up without a plan. The more people we have on our side, the better. And I doubt we'll be able to get any help from the police. Good point, Stanley agreed. Hey, Aichi said. I'm here too, and I'm going with you. I'll keep Hitomi safe. Oh look, good news, Kano. Now we have 3 people. Stanley let out a sardonic laugh. Kano frowned. Aichi, I appreciate the offer, but having 3 people instead of 2 won't make much of a difference. When you're not sure of the enemy's exact plan, you really need strength in numbers. If we could set up a dragnet like the task force did this morning, that'd be ideal, but... Come on, detective, Aichi said. Don't you have any idea what sort of approach this psycho might take? If I were Alfred, Kano mused, then I suppose my biggest problem would be figuring out how to get away after I'd taken Hitomi's blood. Stanley nodded in agreement. I'm betting he plans to involve the UA virus, he said. If, for instance, he tells us he set up a device somewhere to spread the virus throughout Shibuya, that prevents us from taking action against him. Aichi swallowed hard. This guy wanted to unleash a killer virus in Shibuya. If he succeeded, then the town Aichi had known and loved all his life would become a graveyard. Of course, that's mere conjecture, Stanley murmured. Quite frankly, even I can only guess what he's going to do. His expression was grim. Strength in numbers, huh? So you're saying we absolutely need more people, that's it? Essentially, yes, Stanley replied. But not just anyone. If it's not a group that meshes well, it'll handle more than help. This is when Aichi gets the idea to go to that bar, because if Minokawa is ending, he storms in, begging what's her name for help, Susumu. Kano folded his arms across his chest. He looked perplexed. People who mesh well together, huh? Aichi had an idea. They could ask the police for backup. It might be a long shot, but it was their only move. No, it's B. That's a dead giveaway. Remember, he stormed in asking. So it's B, it's not A. He could ask SOS. If there was anything he could do, it was that. It was a selfish request. He knew that. Susumu would probably be furious with him, but Aichi would just have to deal with that. Even if his old pals wouldn't forgive him, they understood that they'd be helping protect Shibuya. He was sure they'd step up, take action. After all, the whole point of the gang was that it made up people who loved their own world. Can you give me half an hour? I'm gonna try and see if I can rustle up some people. Kano straightened himself up. You think you can do it? Aichi nodded assertively. Just wait here for me, okay? He said to Hitomi. She gave him a worried smile. All right, I'll be waiting. It'll be okay. Aichi did his best to sound reassuring. I promise I'll bring back some help. He knew where he needed to go. The pool hall in Harajuku. That was his old gang's main hangout. Running at top speed, he could probably make it in about 10 minutes. All right. Rushing out the door with a battle cry loud enough for Kano and the others to hear from back inside the shop. Aichi sped on his way. Not yet. Traffic on Dogenzaku was at a near standstill. Had there been some sort of major accident? As Aichi ran along the roadside, he heard a middle-aged man screaming angrily. Oh my God. You've got to be kidding me. What do you mean no trains are stopping at Shibuya? The guy was red in the face. What the heck is going on? Aichi felt compelled to stop and check things out. Calm down, old man. Aichi ignored him and kept on running. Finally, he arrived at the SOS hideout. 2 young men were standing by the door as lookouts. Aichi recognized one of them. It was the kid whose so-called buddies had tried to shake him down earlier that afternoon. They roused themselves as Aichi approached. Hey, I need to see Susumu. No can do. He's in the middle of something right now. The lookout's made no move to let him through. Aichi felt a surge of resentment towards Susumu. If he'd still been with SOS, he'd never try to post members on guard duty like they were low-ranking Yakuza thugs. Aichi pressed again. Please, I need to see him. It's important. Fine then, I guess I have to do this the hard way. I actually forcibly shoved the two of them aside. Yeah, I think didn't he bust in? I'm gonna go with B. Look, I don't have time to screw around. Just go and tell Susumu that Aichi's here. The mention of his name, the two lookouts exchanged worried glances. All right, I'll go ask him. One of the lookouts headed inside, leaving Aichi alone with the kid he'd helped out earlier. Do they always stick you on guard duty? The boy didn't reply. Back when I ran with SOS, we never needed anyone on lookout. We were just a bunch of guys who loved Shibuya and who had a fun time hanging out with each other. That's all. That's all it was, really. It's not Susumu's fault that SOS changed, the boy said, somewhat fearfully. Lately, it's Kiryu who's been driving things. Kiryu, huh? Oh yeah, that guy. Aichi recalled his early run-in with him. The guy was an arrogant bully. Kiryu's planning to steal Susumu's throne. I knew it, because the way he was acting. Remember in Minokara's story, how he was acting when Susumu wouldn't do anything. And he agreed to the interview, and he was like, "You just gonna let him do that?" Stuff like that. People like that, you gotta watch out. Especially if they're like your second in line. They're the ones that stab you in the back for your crown. What for? The boy took a nervous look at the door before hurriedly continuing. He's trying to expand SOS influence, and he's got a lot of people on his side. Right now, the gang is kind of split into two factions, Susumu's guys and Kiryu's guys. Finally, Aichi understood what was going on. The gang members had all been acting so weird because they were caught up in some kind of internal struggle. Kiryu goes around recruiting new followers by force. Oh, and if he doesn't like you, he dishes out punishment. This month alone, he sent 8 people to the hospital. SOS is a total mess, man. This plan of mine might not work after all. Oh God, I actually felt a sinking sense of despair. If SOS was ravaged with infighting, it was doubtful they'd heed the dangerous request he had for them. But even still, I want to be a part of this gang, the boy muttered. Aichi peered at him in surprise. Why? They shake you down for dues, stick you on guard duty? That's not a decent way to treat someone. I look up to Susumu. He treats me like he would anyone else, even though I'm way down at the bottom. And it's not just me. Susumu always puts the members of the gang before himself. That's why I want to stick with SOS. Aha. So that's it, huh? Susumu really had been trying his best. and the members of SOS, some of them at least admired him for it and stuck by him. "Thanks," Aichi said. The kid gave him a dubious look. Aichi didn't know if Susumu would help him out or not. But he knew it was still worth putting their disagreements aside in order to ask. Yep. The door opened and the other lookout returned. Susumu says to come on in. Aichi nodded and strode aside. Keep out! Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. My name is Raven from the Sky. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and drop a like and subscribe to the channel and series grow. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.